you're hitting a piece of stone with a chisel and a hammer, and you get into a kind of rhythm, and you understand the rhythm of the stone. I mean, it sort of makes it sound a bit mysterious. It isn't really. So just trying to follow these lines, and gradually they'll all entwine around each other as I go deeper into the stone. You know, although it felt right because the stone said we're two people kissing, and so I just sort of said, oh, you know, okay, Bernard, stop beating yourself up about it and just do it. And but then the other part of me thought, oh God, but how am I going to be able to? Yeah, it's a lump of rock, isn't it? You know, but if we can turn it into a beautiful object imbibed with meaning and feeling and peacefulness, and this is really honestly the first thing the first figurative piece I've carved for at least 10 years. So yeah, that it feels, you know, it's sort of uncharted territory in many ways. So in the back of it, the hair, it's going to be called entwined. I've already got the title in my head. So the back is going to be this hair that's all entwined around each other. So they're, you know, kissing at the front, but completely entwined at the back of it. So their hair's all going to be going across and things. So it should be quite a nice piece. So I was, you know, born into a poor working class family, brought up on a council estate in the sort of outer suburbs of London. And, you know, at that time, I'm 65 years old now, so I was born in 1956. So sort of during my, you know, young sort of educational years, it wasn't really something that many working class people aspired to, I don't think, you know. So as a kid, you know, I was always, I mean, people didn't really worry about young kids in those days. You know, you'd go off on your bike, you know, for the whole day, you know, cycling into the countryside with you know, going to go and catch some minnows or something in a river, all that sort of stuff, you know. So my brother was at art school, and we used to spend the weekends, you know, kind of going to the Tate Gallery and National Gallery and places, British Museum. And I always painted as a child. So this was about the age of, you know, from about 13 onwards. And then one day we were in the Tate Gallery, and Modigliani, who I knew as a painter, who I didn't know had made sculpture. I walked around the corner, I'd been looking at some of his work, walked around the corner and saw this big stone sculpted head, and was just completely, you know, dumbstruck by it. I mean, amazing, you know, it was like one of those, a lightning bolt moment, you know. And there and then I just thought, you know, I've got to do something like this. So at the tender age of 14, I went home that day, made my way into my dad's garden shed, found a piece of breeze block and some wood chisels and a mallet, and started carving a head. And that was my first piece of work at the age of 14. But I really thought as a youngster, you know, that I had no right to go into the British Museum or the National Gallery. I thought they were I thought they were kind of exclusive places, you know, somehow for educated people or people that, you know, I don't know, that it wasn't my thing. But of course, you know, when my brother was at art school and we started going, and I was like, okay, these are just public places that you can go in and they're full of these amazing things. I was making work at home. I had a garden shed that I made work in, and I'd work at weekends or in the evenings and, you know, summer and stuff. You know, and I really wanted to leave my job, and I sort of wanted to make sculpture full time, but I just didn't quite have that confidence, which again I think is a bit of a poor working class thing, that confidence just isn't instilled in you. So therefore you just think, oh, you know, I'm never going to be good enough, or I'm, you know, I'm a bit of a fake, or whatever, you know that kind of syndrome. I did it, and then a peculiar set of circumstances sent me into a top Mayfair gallery, you know, within less than a year. But I felt I had sort of total freedom, you know. I just was being completely honest. Whether you love my work or hate my work, it doesn't really make any difference. It has integrity, it's about, it's honest. It's my work, I'm not trying to copy anyone or be like anyone or be fashionable. I mean, I think my work is completely unfashionable, because, my main interest, my fundamental interest is beauty and balance, and because that's in nature, and I think we, as human beings, we respond to that without doubt. Whether it's a little weed in the ground that you look through a microscope, or you look at the moon at night, or whatever it is, or the cloud. It's always there. It's patterns, balance, beauty is always there, and it's incredibly unfashionable, I think, in the art world, but for me it's really important, and that's kind of what I do. And I guess that's what you're doing with your work, isn't it? You're bringing your emotional life into your work, and that's a kind of and that's sort of focused on whether it be a piece of stone or a piece of canvas. It's focused on that one thing. People think, oh, you've had years of experience as a sculptor, but still, confronted with a block of stone, I still sometimes think, what's going to happen now? Because you don't always know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe you've already got an idea, but maybe that level of confidence is never there, and I think it's probably a good thing, because it keeps you on your toes, I suppose, in some respect. And and in terms of our own lifetimes, a piece of stone, these pieces of stone around here, formed 250, 300 million years ago. In terms of our own life, you sort of think, you feel like a speck of dust. And now you're kind of helping to reform it into something else that has more than just its own qualities. I try to imbibe my pieces with a feeling of meditativeness and peacefulness, and hopefully that comes across. So over lockdown, I did a couple of projects actually. This was one of them, and because, like everybody else, I couldn't get any materials, couldn't go to quarries, everything was closed, etc. So I looked around my studio and I found a material that I particularly like, which is alabaster. So these pieces of alabaster that I carved, these tiny little pieces, they're sort of like, they feel very delicate. And they were all just really, they were either abstract shapes that I'd been thinking about anyway, and I'd been sort of playing around with. And then I gathered them together. I think it was the fact that they're all related by these same wooden blocks. And I kind of just placed them together, and all of a sudden I thought, oh hell, they're a family. Just at a time when, one, we needed our families, but we couldn't see them. So I felt like I was kind of gathering a little group. It sounds really sad, doesn't it? Gathering a little group of stones around me. Things that meant something to me, I guess. I always see my work as sort of being in the landscape, but being quite large. But of course, it's much easier to work on this scale. Because I think it's like coming across someone who's made some marks on a rock face of a cave or something. It's just as important. You feel that connection, and not necessarily understanding it, but you feel some kind of connection over eons of time. Impossible to carve ironstone. It's ridiculous. You're supposed to carve it the first few weeks it comes out of the ground, because it hardens up after a while. So bits of it are like mud, and other bits of it are, as the name implies, ironstone. So you can hit it with a large hammer, and it just it won't really do very much. But I like this because it's sort of got some kind of ancient quality about it. It's like it almost feels figurative. I don't know, like some strange sort of creature. So this is a piece in Forest of Dean green sandstone, which is incredibly hard, incredibly difficult to carve. And it was about, those patterns of light and things that you see when you're in a wood, and the way that leaves and branches play, and you know, you're not quite sure where you're going. I wanted to have that sort of feeling, and that feeling of being maybe slightly lost. It's a piece carved out of a piece of polyfence stone from Cornwall. So it's lovely material to carve. This piece is called Ritual, and it was about the importance of ritual, you know, even in our very modern society, where we probably think some of those things have disappeared a bit. But I think they're important to people. They give meaning, they give weight, and they give significance to certain points in our life. So, and this particular one, although it's abstract, I think of it as like a sort of running or dancing person. So they're doing some sort of, you know, ritual dance. I ended up making this piece of work after months and months and months of really struggling with an idea of making a piece of work about two of your friends, something about their, you know, relationship or coupledom or whatever, and how two people, you know, floating around in our very large world had sort of hit upon each other, and that these, you know, these kind of endless sort of, you know, a bit like a maze, you know, the maze of life, you know, kind of finding your way through, finding dead ends, finding ways that, you know, connect with other things and take you on new paths. So this piece was, it's called Identity Piece, and it's all the numbers that give you your identities. You're not someone if you haven't got this set of numbers. It was also an idea about, you know, leaving your identity behind. This is who I was according to the society I lived in. It obviously has nothing to do with me whatsoever, other than the fact that I made it. Any kind of mark making on something that is going to outlast you, you know, going to outlast our lives, is kind of there. I think that's what people do.